I am Phil Koon, seeking the office of your next circuit clerk. I am 61 years old, the youngest of 9 children of the late John Robert Koon and Julie Mooney, lifelong residents of Tippah County. I am a 1980 graduate of Pine Grove High School and a 1984 graduate of Delta State University. I've worked my whole life, and during this time I've worked closely with thousands of landowners, contractors, corporations, and businesses. My previous jobs and work history speaks for itself. I've always been honest, trustworthy, fair, and dedicated to all. The reason why I'm running for the circuit clerk is there's no other place I'd rather be than sharing my life's work ethic and traits with all of Tippah County. This also includes the elected officials and their offices that are affiliated with the clerk's office, both county and statewide levels. I humbly ask for you to go to the polls on August the 8th and write in Phil Koon and pencil in the oval for your next circuit clerk. I will forever be grateful. Thank you.
Welcome to Daryl's Little Corner. We'll be with you every Monday from 7 to 8. In the studio with me tonight is Mr. Phil Koon. Now, I know some of you are saying, who's that? A lot of folks are saying, oh, look at there, there's Phil. About that. And reason that Mr. Koon is here is because he's running for circuit clerk. So we just kind of want to find out about, you know, at our little corner, we kind of like to know stuff. We're not nosy, we just want to know.
That's right.
That's the way it is.
That's right.
Tell us where you're from.
I live on Highway 2, about 8 miles east of Ripley, between the Spout Springs and Chapman community.
Oh, you're nearly my neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Right there close.
You from Tippah County?
I am from Tippah County.
And your parents?
My parents were from Tippah County. All my siblings been lifelong residents of Tippah County.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about them siblings.
Oh, my buddy.
I know a couple of them, you sure do.
They've been good. I lost my father when I was 5. He was running for supervisor in 1967. He died August the 8th of that year, 4 weeks before the election.
Oh.
And he had just built a store on Highway 2 there where I grew up. And my mom worked at Footcrest. And I'm assuming that particular reason was not only for the income, but for insurance for our family. My dad, before he built the store, was a janitor at the courthouse. Him and was real good friends with Oscar Shannon. I don't know if anybody's watching today knows or remembers Oscar Shannon. They nicknamed him Bear. And the reason for that, a group of people come one year to the Tippah County Fair and had a bear in a cage, and people paid to wrestle the bear. So they called him Bear Shannon. And he's got a son that's still alive today, Larry Shannon. And I hope he don't mind me mentioning his name. Mr. Shannon was a good man. But
can you imagine wrestling a bear?
Wrestling a bear, yep. And I think he done a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
But after they built the store and got in it, and he passed away in '67.
He lived through it. He did.
He did. He did.
Yes.
But my mom had to take over the business and run the store. Mm-hmm. And nearly 10 years to the date, in 1977, my mom was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. And you was asking me about my siblings. I stayed with my sister for maybe a year or so, and then I left my sister and went to live with my oldest brother, James. And he took me in, and he was like a father to me rather than a brother. And I really appreciate him and what his wife has done for me. They washed my clothes through high school and through 5 years of college, and all my brothers are real close to me, and couldn't ask for nothing no better.
Yeah, there's more to taking somebody in than people think.
Yeah, it is.
It just is.
Yeah.
And you went to school in Tippah County.
Went to school at Pine Grove.
And, I have grandchildren there. In fact, one of my granddaughters is teaching there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good school. And you're married?
I'm married to Brenda King. She's from the Cleveland community. Her dad was J.R. King, and her mother was Lila Wilbanks. You know, I asked, a lot of people ask me, where's Walnut at, or do you know so-and-so from Walnut? And a lot of times I may not know who they're talking about. They don't really know the name, but I can say, yeah, I know some Wilbanks from walnut, and 50% of the time you're going to get that right because a lot of people that lives in walnut is Wilbankses.
Wilbankses are crumbs.
Wilbanks, amen. Yep, Wilbankses are crumbs.
Sure is. And if they're not, they're kin to them.
They're kin to them. That's true.
You have children?
I have one daughter. Her name is Brandy, and her husband is Joey Childs. I have two grandsons, Coy and Luke Childs, that also attend Pine Grove School.
So you're deeply rooted into Tippah County.
I am.
Yes, that makes a difference. You know, we want people that care about our county.
True.
You know, we don't want somebody that's just fly by night.
That's true.
We want somebody that's going to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Tell us why you're running for office.
I'm running for office because I love Tippah County and what it means to me. Growing up here and all. I have many friends, and you know, before the campaign, before I announced, I thought I knew a lot of people in Tippah County. But let me tell you straight, there's a lot of people I don't know in Tippah County. Tippah County, I know about every county covers probably the same amount of square miles or yards or whatever you want to call it, but it's hard to cover a lot of the county.
Yes, it is.
But I want to run because of my past experience and my job qualifications that I have had in previous jobs. Has meant a lot to me. I've tried to make a good hand for every business or every company I've ever worked for.
What kind of work you do?
Right now, I'm presently employed by Mississippi Department of Transportation in Tippah on a bridge crew. We cover 16 counties in northeast Mississippi.
Good job.
Yeah.
What'd you do before that?
Before that, I was a woodyard manager for...
I'm trying to get work experience.
Yeah. Before that, I was a woodyard manager for Hankins Forest Products. Worked for a great man with Hankins, Mr. David Hankins. I worked there 5 years part-time prior to taking a job with them full-time in 1995. I worked from 90 to 95 part-time cleaning up at the mill, and got to meet Harold Wayne and J.D. and David, the three brothers that owned the business, and has done very well for themselves and for Tippah County, for what all they've brought into the county. And I admire them. I've worked 25 years as the manager for 6 wood yards across West Tennessee and northeast Mississippi. And there I dealt with thousands of landowners and loggers, contractors, and harvesting and merchandising of their timber. And I also was responsible for log payroll, freight payroll, signing contracts of timber companies, which included pulpwood mills and sawmills across Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama. And putting the wood down for them and being responsible for when they called during the winter. What we had these yards for was to store wood and put water, irrigation systems up. And we put water on this wood, and we kept it for situations during the winter when loggers could not always get in the woods and produce the wood for these mills. So they would call me, and I'd have to coordinate between, at that time we had 3 yards with irrigation systems on it. So they'd come through to me and tell me how many loads or how many tons they needed a certain week or a certain month. And I seen to it that I got the trucking companies and the independent contractors together to get on the yard, even helped load many, many loads of wood out of all these yards and get them to the mill on time, and was always faithful to them and getting what they needed on time.
They are tending toward using some plastic in the furniture now. They call it blowfill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they call it that.
Yeah.
I don't do furniture.
Yeah.
But my dad did upholstery.
Right.
That's the reason I'm curious
Yeah.
about it. Back in the days when they used burlap, now they use cardboard.
Right.
Do you think that's going to hurt our wood industry? We have a lot of people make a living
True.
with these sawmills and cutting timber.
Right. I don't think it somewhat won't hurt the timber business because of the demand it is right now. I've noticed at Lowe's years ago they make a decking material, and it is for plastic and wood, where they integrate the fibers together, and you put on your decks in your house.
Oh.
They're a lot more durable and they last a lot longer than just wood. But it's a real good product. I don't know what the decking material, the specific name is that it's called.
I put something down in my place that is called laminate. That's probably plastic.
Yeah.
Laminate.
Yeah. Laminate flooring is good. And while you've mentioned that, Miss Daryl, they are a chip mill and a charcoal mill place coming to Walnut called Royal Oaks.
I know that.
And I think Mr. Jimmy Gunn, the first district supervisor, brought it up the other day. I had heard it a month or two ago. They're coming to our county, in Tippah County, and it should bring in a lot of revenue and be good for the county and help people get jobs.
Yes.
Because we need jobs in Tippah County.
We do. What does the circuit clerk actually do? I don't think I'm the only one that doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, the circuit clerk, their office is there to file lawsuits and indictments and motions and other related paperwork. In the office, they also send out summons and subpoenas for the courts. They also file marriage licenses and divorces, and they keep a record, their own file of a medical license and professional license, and they do a lot of things, and especially with these elections, with that way they are. I mean, there's a lot of paperwork in the office, and during the elections, they're responsible to get the ballots and get the machines or get the paper or whatever it is they need to these precincts in order to carry out the voting process of this county.
I didn't realize that they're that involved in the elections. I didn't realize that.
Yes, they are. And, I don't know everything it is about the circuit clerk's office and don't claim to. I think every day is a new adventure when you take a job like the circuit clerk's. Some people ask, are you qualified for the circuit clerk? And, I'll tell them I'll use my past and previous experience on my jobs to help me do what I've done in these jobs to work with the circuit clerk. There's also keeping up with the evidence of trials that goes on in the county. That was new to me when I was made aware of that. It's a vault. I've never seen the vault in the courthouse.
I was surprised at that too.
Yeah. But I reckon when they bring you the evidence, you code it and mark it, and you put it in a box, and they've got a big giant vault in the clerk's office. And when they go to trial, they'll call for that evidence, and you have to get it. And after the trial's over with, a lot of times you put it back in the box where it goes and keep it there, because a lot of times after a trial, people will appeal, and it may be out of county where the next trial will be located. So you have to pull that evidence and get it to where it's at in a timely manner. It's a lot of stuff in the circuit clerks.
I've somehow, I don't know what made me think it, I thought that was kept at the jail.
Well, yeah, it's new to me. It's like any job, a person.
We don't know.
We don't know. Look, every day's a new day. And they ask me, well, why would you want to do this if you don't know that much about the job? I'm wanting to work and show that I can do this job as well as any others that's done it.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody
Randy
knows.
did, and he passed away.
Yeah.
Even the people in there now don't.
Yeah.
Nobody has the experience.
Yeah. And I believe if Randy was here today, and James Irvin Dees or W.A. Mulligan or Eddie Barkley, any of the previous circuit clerks, when they took office, they could tell you the same thing I'm sitting here telling you, because it's a new adventure. And even after you're there for 2 or 3 years, you're going to run up on a task sometimes that you've never dealt with. And I'm the person that I'm not too good to ask for help. A lot of times if you try to fix something on your own, in my case, I'd mess it up more than I'd help myself. So
Me too.
Always call and make sure you do the right things if you have a question on what you're doing.
And there is a training period. They send you to classes and teach you
I've
how
not
to do
looked into
this.
that or nothing, but I figure every office in the courthouse has got training classes and all. So you'll have a lot of experience and education coming out of them classes, I'm sure.
You can't just throw somebody in there and say do it, you know. It doesn't matter how much that we've sat up there and talked and visited with the guy doing it. You know, that's like saying, you know, that I go to the beauty shop regular so I can start cutting hair. It don't work that way.
No, it don't work that way. And you know, you can go to the same beautician week after week after week. Sometimes she may make a boo-boo every now and then or a little bit.
You go to the doctor regular, but it don't make us a doctor.
No, that's right. It does not.
And we have to. So I mean, they have to have some kind of training.
Yes.
I'm sure they do.
Yes, they do.
And you know, and you're willing to learn.
Yes.
You know, now the folks that don't do well are the ones that start out, you know, thinking they know it all.
Right.
But we know we don't know anything, so we're open to learning.
You know, each candidate in this election that's running for circuit clerk, they're like myself. It's going to be a learning experience.
That's right. That's right.
And as the people of the county go vote, and the people mark your name and or write your name in and circle the color in the oval, they're knowing you to a certain degree. They know your history. They know what your life is consisted of. They know your work experience, or they know you from being a friend from years ago. They know what you stand for. And these people is who's going to qualify. The people of Tippah County is going to be the last say on who they choose for circuit clerk to be qualified to run the circuit clerk's office. Not only if you get the second most votes or the third most votes, each vote that is cast, these people are saying Phil Koon is qualified to do the circuit clerk's job.
That's right.
Diane Graves is qualified to do a circuit clerk's job. Shane Akins, whoever they may be, any of the candidates that's running. So
now we need to discuss this. You know, Randy Graves was a great guy, and he passed away.
Yes.
And that left it open, but it was after the qualifying for office for people to run.
True.
So explain to us what we have to do to vote.
Okay. My understanding from this is 2017, I believe, is what the year it was. Michael, I'm trying to think of the Secretary of State. Do you know who he is, Miss Daryl?
I'm not very political, or you can't.
Can't think of his last
Somebody
name.
has to call me and remind me to go vote.
Well, I'll do that on election day.
You do that.
But the first thing that I done, I wanted to run for office back last year to come out this year, and I did not go qualify. That was my own fault. And ever since February, I regretted for not doing this. So I beat myself up pretty good for the last 4 or 5 months for not doing this. And we got to church one Sunday morning, and our pastor got up and asked prayers for the Grace family, and didn't know who he was talking about. And after church, I asked Brother Terry Ray, who were they talking about? And they said Mr. Randy Grace passed away Saturday night. And I didn't know that. So I couldn't believe it. Life is short. It's here 1 minute and gone the next. We don't know if we'll get home when we leave this interview or not alive. But went home, and I told my wife, I think she had to go somewhere, so I was there home alone for a good while. And I was thinking, you know, I wanted to do this. Something kept telling me to go qualify, and I didn't listen to it, so I didn't go. And after hearing the news about Mr. Randy, I sat there at the house all evening that Sunday evening, and I thought, well, I've got a second chance or a second opportunity to do this, because I've regretted it for 4 or 5 months prior to that. So when my wife got home, I run it by her, and she brought it up. She said, you know, we just need to pray about it and ask God what to do. And when we wake up in the morning, whatever your decision Lord gives you, follow through with it. So we did, and I done that. And I called Chad the next morning. He'll tell you, I waited till about 7:30 or so and asked him what I had to do to qualify for this race. And he told me the deal that, probably appoint Diane if she would take Randy's and fill his term out, and probably hold a special election November of '24. And I said, well, he said, why are you thinking about running? And I said, yes, sir. I said, I've thought about it for a while now and didn't do it, and I'm getting a second chance. So, yeah, I am thinking about running. And it seems that I'll have a year and a half to get out and work and get to know people and see how this thing's worked. So I said, yeah, I probably will. And he told me if something changed during the day Monday, he would call me back. So he called me back Monday night and confirmed what he told me Monday morning. And then Thursday, Chad called me back after I got home Thursday night at work and said, Phil, everything has changed. Said Secretary of State called and talked to the election commissioners and Sean Akins that this office was going to be on the August 8th primary this year. And the reasoning behind that of something they passed in 2017 of an incumbent is running for office and he or she is unopposed and they pass away for some reason, he or she, that and the ballots has not been printed and their name is not on the ballot, that it will be put on the primary election as a write-in vote only. So that's where we stand today. That's the reason why, because of the timing issue of Mr. Randy's death, and the ballots had not been printed, and his name was not on the ballot. So the law requires you to have a write-in vote on the primary election. And I'm understanding if it is a second in the primary election, if somebody don't get 50% plus one vote during this election, August the 8th, 3 weeks from then, it will be the final election. And the two names that goes in the second, their names will be on the ballot in the end of August. So it won't be no write-in at that time.
And now a lot of times younger people don't see the importance of voting.
True.
And they don't go, but the older folks do.
Yeah.
But we're getting old and not able to stand in those lines, and there's something called an absentee vote. And I think a couple of weeks before the election they say go down there and get one, but I'm not sure that they won't mail it to you. Seem like they will.
We did talk to the circuit clerk's office about the absentee votes. Yes, you can call the circuit clerk's office and talk to Diane or Sandra Bennyfield and give them your information and where you live, and I'm pretty sure they will mail an absentee ballot out to you.
I'm thinking they told me they mailed
They
it.
have asked me, I have had one or two ask for an absentee ballot, and that's the reason I know that, because I think my wife went and asked to get one, but I think maybe years ago you could go get an absentee vote and take it to someone, I think. Now, don't hold me to that.
Well, they're strict because there's been so
well,
much
yeah, I
done
mean,
right.
look at the consequences you would face if you did go get one and took it to someone and maybe they wasn't handicapped or was, some foul play could come into play there.
Or maybe they gave it to somebody else.
Or they give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, they gotta be careful.
Yeah. It's just not like it used to be.
No, it's not.
A lot of times people would go get other people and then they'd fill their vote in for them. Well, that's not right either.
Right.
I plan to vote absentee, but I'm not gonna.
Well, now,
I won't fill it out myself.
I ain't mistaken if you by the courthouse, and I was reading up on it a while ago, and I didn't get finished, but it may be the day of the election, but you can go by the circuit clerk's office and vote in the circuit clerk's office.
Well, I know I can't stand in line for an hour.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It takes so long standing in line waiting your turn. Mm-hmm. And when you get past 60, you can't do that.
Right.
So I just, I think I will sing into that.
Yeah, yeah. But you could go in there, they've not got a crowd in the clerk's office at that time. You could vote in and tell them who you are, bring your ID with you, I'm assuming. Show that you are a registered voter of Tippah County. And I think they'll give you a ballot in the clerk's office. And I think they've got little booths like, we used to vote years ago, get our paper ballot and go in and vote like that.
But it's very important to vote.
Yes.
Because I remember several years ago in Tippah County, down here in Tippah County, one of the supervisors got in office by 4 votes.
Yes.
I remember. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
That was shocking.
That may have been
I believe it was.
Mr. J.C. Neby and what was his name?
Wasn't it Griffin or Grishin or something?
Grissom. Yeah.
Absolutely, the
that's
election
close.
was decided by 4 votes.
Every vote counts.
Yes, it does.
It does. Don't let no one tell you that. The younger people say, that's a lot of reason why the younger people, especially when I was growing up, they say, my vote ain't gonna count anyway.
It doesn't.
But it takes 1 vote and then 2 votes, but it accumulates the votes. They add up.
I don't know about federal, but it does in Tippah County.
Yeah, it does.
Because that fella got the office by 4 votes.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter if it was 1.
That's right.
It was still, he won the election.
Yeah.
And that's something to think about.
Dennis, the supervisor was Mr. Dennis Grissom.
I'll tell you what, you need to, now it's getting down to the wire now because it's the 8th.
Yeah, won't be long.
The 8th of August is election time. You need to be checking these guys out.
Yeah.
Know who you want to vote for and why. If you look online on RCTV 19, there's a lot of interviews with candidates. You might get on there and look at it, and that might help you decide who you want to vote for and who you don't. I mean, we got some good guys running, and we don't need to just vote for the guy because he lives next door or my kids plays with his kids, or vote for him because he's qualified, because he worked all his life.
Yes.
Because he's honest and responsible. And we need to start making good decisions for Tippah County and not just, he's a good old boy, let's put him in.
Yeah.
It don't work that way. We need somebody that's going to do the job. And don't forget, you have to pencil in. Explain to us about the pencil in. How's it done, do you know?
You've got to write the person
Or tell us.
or the candidate that you want to be circuit clerk. You need to write as clear as possible and print. Don't write cursive. They want you to print the name if possible. And you just circle the oval where it is. You color it in with a pencil.
Remember, Phil Koon. If you like what you see and you're impressed with what you've heard here tonight, this is Phil Koon. And you have to pencil his name in.
Write my name in and pencil in the
Write
oval.
it in.
Yeah, write the name in and pencil in the oval. Color it in.
Don't forget, Phil Koon. Write it down somewhere. And be sure that you do vote, because your vote counts. This is Daryl at Daryl's Little Corner. I appreciate you tuning us in. Be sure and watch the Jeter Family program on Saturday nights at 7 o'clock. This is Daryl's Little Corner. Tune us in again next Monday. May God bless.
I am Phil Koon, seeking the office of your next circuit clerk. I am 61 years old, the youngest of 9 children of the late John Robert Koon and Julie Mooney, lifelong residents of Tippah County. I'm a 1980 graduate of Pine Grove High School and a 1984 graduate of Delta State University. I've worked my whole life, and during this time I've worked closely with thousands of landowners, contractors, corporations, and businesses. My previous jobs and work history speaks for itself. I've always been honest, trustworthy, fair, and dedicated to all. The reason why I'm running for the circuit clerk is there's no other place I'd rather be than sharing my life's work ethic and traits with all of Tippah County. This also includes the elected officials and their offices that are affiliated with the clerk's office, both county and statewide levels. I humbly ask for you to go to the polls on August the 8th and write in Phil Koon and pencil in the oval for your next circuit clerk. I will forever be grateful. Thank you.